Welcome to the spot. It's time to ignite. Oh yeah. Operation Hangout. The feeling's just right. Chilling with the crew. We're ready to groove. Opinions flying high. Come on, let's move. Hang out all night long, all night. Laughing and debating, playing our song. Oh yeah. Share your thoughts, don't be shy. Don't be shy. Operation Hangout, let's reach for the sky. Let's fly. Pull up a chair, let's get in the zone. Voices blending smooth like a funky trombone. Oh yeah. Topics from the heart, making us think. With a twist and a shout, raise up your drink. Cheers! Hang out all night long, all night. Laughing and debating, playing our song. Oh yeah. Share your thoughts, don't be shy. Don't be shy. Operation Hangout, let's reach for the sky. Let's fly. Bring it down, shake it up, feel the beat. With every word we share, the circle's complete. Living loud, think the crowd, that's what we do. Oh yeah. Join the club, come on through, we're waiting for you. Alright. Hang out, all night long, all night. Laughing and debating, playing our song. Oh yeah. Share your thoughts, don't be shy. Don't be shy. Operation Hangout, let's reach for the sky. Let's fly. Hang out.
What is going on, everybody? We're back at it. Another stream, another live. You know where you're at. You're our Spartan NC Network. I'm your host, the Spartan, aka Peter. How is everybody doing tonight? We have a show I've been looking forward for a while. A little backstory about me. What got me? Let's try this again. What got me into comic books was Spider-Man. The 90s, the 90s cartoon was the factor for me. It was the cartoon that hooked me on Spider-Man. Hey, Eric, what's going on, my man? And I was hooked. I was into the comic books, to the toys, even the corny. I think it was 70 or 80s TV show, and then it was a spiral effect after that, and that's all. So let's get this little weasel. He's already talking crap behind the scenes. Let's get my boy Greg in.
A new subscriber.
Oops, wrong button. All right. What were you trying to say about comic books? They're not good?
No, I'm not all good on comic books.
Oh, okay, my bad. I thought you made something like that. Oh, that little weasel was in my bad, dude.
No, I'm not. It's been over 30 years since I've last had a comic book.
And that's
I'm
fine.
40 years old.
We're not going to focus on the comic book Spider-Man as much. Because if we stick on the comic book series, we are going to be here in the next year. Because there's so much material with Spider-Man, it's not even funny. But we are going to talk about the TV shows, the movies, the and the games about Spider-Man.
I never really played the games.
But you watch the movies and TV shows at least, right?
TV shows, I watched all the movies. The TV shows, I wasn't able to watch them because my brother took over and watched something else every time. So movies, I'm all your ears.
All right, at least I got you somewhere. All right, let's start with the movies because you to the other guests can start coming in. All right, we have 3 Spider-Mans right now. All right,
Yep.
technically 4. Don't forget, we got Spider-Man, the Tobey Maguire series, right?
Is that the guy who played in
Early
Road
2000s.
Is it the same guy who played in Road Trip? If it's the one I'm thinking of.
I have seen.
He loaned the car to some people so they can go on a road trip to go and get a video from
Look
the
up
girl.
Tobey Maguire really fast. All right. Then you have Garfield, the second one, an Amazing Spider-Man. In my opinion, the best Spider-Man ever played on screen, and I'll argue that fact to anybody. Third one is a current Spider-Man, and people forget the Spider-Verse is an anime movie, but it's still a movie that shows every Spider-Man in every universe in.
Sorry, I'm just trying to look up what his name was. One I'm thinking of. Yeah, the first Spider-Man. He played in the movie Road Trip.
So,
Same guy.
from all, we have 4 Spider-Man. Like I said, we have. Hang on, let me get the names up because maybe you make it
I
easier.
remember the first 3, which was I can't remember that young lad who had the nano suit and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's the new one I'm talking about.
Is it?
Here it is. All right. His name is Tom Holland. I think he's from
Yes.
your. I'm sorry.
Yes, Tom Holland. Yes, that's the one with the thing. I couldn't think of his name, but as soon as he said it, yeah.
Yeah, isn't he technically from your part of woods?
I don't know. I
mean,
really don't know.
I'm talking about like he's from the UK.
Yeah.
He sounds like he has a UK accent, like you do.
Yeah, I couldn't really tell you.
I'm gonna look it up right now. Okay, so we got 4 Spider-Mans. Spider-Man Toby, we have Garfield and Holland. Let's go for the live action for right now, okay?
Yeah.
In your opinion, who is the best Spider-Man? And guys, in the chat, please join in. This is going to be a fun show. Eric,
personally,
I know you're a
think the
Spider-Man fan.
strongest
You have to
Spider-Man-
be if you're a comic book. Come on.
Strongest Spider-Man's got to be the first one.
Really?
Yeah. Well, who else
I'm
who else can you think can stop a train with their bare hands and using the webs directly out of their own body?
All 3 Spider-Mans?
Nope.
Bullshit, they can. All of them have the same
Hold on. Right. The first Spider-Man, the 2 second ones, right, have to have cartridges. Yeah. The first one can actually bring it straight out of his skin.
Oh, you're going to start a debate there, bro. Okay, so by that said, the original, let's diagnose this for a minute, all right? If you break the story down of Spider-Man, the origin story.
Original Spider-Man comic, yes, I remember watching maybe 1 or 2 of the episodes that he did use cartridges.
Thank you. That was a huge debate in the comic book field because that was a change just for the comic books. I mean, for the movies, excuse me. And it was a confidential debate on that.
Yeah.
Because there is no Spider-Man except that I know of. Again, I haven't read every single issue saying Spider-Man shoot webs at his hand. And Eric, please jump in the chat and let me know if I'm wrong or right here. So for that said, you cannot sit there and tell me that's the strongest Spider-Man because we don't know if that is fiction or so Eric says, I haven't seen much of the MCU Spider-Man beyond Tobey Maguire. But my question is to you, Eric, because I know you read a little more because obviously you're more aged than I am at this point. Did any Spider-Man shoot webs straight out of their arms, or did all the Spider-Man series have cartridges? So I'll give you that if you want to use that factor. He didn't have used cartridges. I'll give you the factor. But Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, first one, is not stronger because I can explain. I'm gonna break it down to you.
Me and him weren't even born back then. Me and you weren't even born back then.
Oh shit, that's what you're talking about.
Yeah, we weren't even born back then.
But this is the golden age of Spider-Man.
Oh yeah.
You have two big eras for Spider-Man, all right? Era number one, all right, is 60s and 70s. Era number two is 2000s. Why I use those two eras? Because that's where the popularity came in. And then the 90s is the cartoon era. I'm talking about comic books only right now for a minute.
Yeah.
And I know we're not going off comic books. I just want to bring that up really fast. The second era that boomed the comic books again for Spider-Man is when 04. Was it 04 or 05? I gotta look it up. I think it was 04. I'm pretty sure it was 04. 02. I'm sorry. 02. Spider-Man blew the market. Anyway. But if you want to use, and Eric says really fast, hang on. Peter Parker created his web shooters as a gadget. Yes, that is correct. That's where I'm going. And he replies, the Venom symbiont allow him to shoot organic spider webs. And that is correct too. That's where I was going next. So if you want to use that Spider-Man, I'll counter you with the Venom spider, Venom suit. Like Eric said, the black suit. A lot of people know that.
That was in the second. That was in the second movie, Spider-Man.
But it was yes, but he was 10 times stronger.
Hold on.
Hang on. Don't get me ahead of me. In every series, I don't care what series you read, series or shows. Let's go off the shows for a second. The shows, the movies, every single one of them, even the games show Spider-Man, Venom suit. He is 10 times stronger, 10 strong faster, 10 times smarter, and he shoots organic venoms. Checkmate, you're up.
Well, you could say that, yes, but I was just thinking about the second one, but it's completely wrong. It's the same guy who uses the Venom suit. Same
Brock?
guy who played the first Spider-Man in the first movie. He's one. I thought it was in the second one with the second guy, but it was actually the same guy in the first one.
Tobey Maguire. You can say his name. You're a big boy.
Yeah, I'll keep forgetting his name. Yes, Toby whatever. But yeah,
you have to, dude. If we're gonna do this correctly, we got to bring the names into it because you can say second. Okay, the
Tobey Maguire
movies.
Sorry, I could never remember their surnames properly or their names. But yeah, it's the first Spider-Man, the first Spider-Man movie, right? Probably maybe 2 or 3 in, but like the movies that he made of Spider-Man. But he did have the original Venom suit, and he still used the fact of the webs coming out of his hand, out of his wrist.
You're right. Like I said, I want to checkmate you. The Venom suit is 10 times stronger, 10 times faster, 10 times agility, 10 times smarter, and he makes his organic. So checkmate. So right now, if you want to use that theory, the Venom Spider is stronger than the Spider-Man that stopped the train. That is Spider-Man 3 in Tobey Maguire.
Yep. Same guy. Yep.
But
he didn't use the Venom suit.
Again, if he had the Venom suit, he wouldn't even break a sweat.
Okay.
The Venom suit is 10 times stronger. And that's why it's so dangerous. Because the Venom suit is not only dangerous because it's how strong it is also takes control of your mindset. If you remember, he was
Oh
becoming
yeah,
very
yeah. He
evil.
became such an arsehole and stuck up and that, and everyone fancied him.
He's evil. It poisons you over time.
What was his mate's name? What was his friend's name? Who ended up with the
Not
Venom
his
suit?
friend, his nemesis. They were never friends. So Eric says, in the comic books, I believe Peter discovered the Venom symbiote during the Marvel Superhero Secret War series. I'm gonna challenge that. From what I remember, he recovered the suit from a crash spaceship in New York City. That oh man, what's his name? JJ Jameson, his son was piloting. I may be wrong. I'm gonna. That's why I'm challenging you. I'm not positive on that, Eric. So don't. I'm not going. I'm not going back and forth. But Venom and Spider is 10 times stronger. That's why they only showed it once on screen so far, with together.
Okay.
But if you really want to use the Venom, then we have to add the Venom series too.
I never brought up the Venom. You did.
You have to bring it up if you're going to bring organic suit again. Organic web suiters.
Okay.
Because again, that is an organic life form. Like Spider-Man is. He's an organic life form. You see where I'm going with this, Greg?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So again, you have to use another factor. That Peter Parker, Tobey Maguire's version, he wasn't that smart with computers.
No, he wasn't.
Bingo.
He was a great scientist. He was a great scientist, though.
But the person who was a better scientist and smarter tech was...
the third one.
You're going to be... I'm going to smoke you on that one too, buddy. So it was...
Well, it was great with technology. He... what was it? When they brought that the multiverse into it, and they all came into one area, right?
But he did not build his own suit. So this is a catch. What I'm saying to you, here's
he did
my
make
argument
it
statement.
make his own suit, but
I'm sorry.
Then Tony Stark decided to actually physically make him one better with technology in it.
So Andrew Garfield, Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man series, right?
Yep.
He builds his own suit from scratch. He builds his own web suiters from scratch, and he's the smartest person in the room, technology and a scientist. Checkmate.
That's true.
Checkmate.
But I still think the original Spider-Man was better.
No, dude, how can you say that right now when I'm giving you the facts and you keep going
I know
back
you're giving
to
me facts, but as I said, that's my opinion.
You have to use the facts. You cannot say he's a good one just because he's out of train. It's like saying, a 22 millimeter is not as good as a 45, but a 45 is bigger.
45 would always be better.
But see, that's what I'm saying. But you're saying right now he stopped training. That's the only argument you have right now, and that is not a standard argument.
Okay.
But if you're gonna argue back, you got to give me a good debate here, bro.
Yeah, I'm trying to give you a good one, but I can't.
But you don't have any facts. You have no. The only facts you're giving me right now is he stopped training.
Yeah, that's all I can think of. I haven't seen the other ones quite recently. I've watched the other ones so many times. When I was back in the Eastbourne, I had the movie on DVD and I was constantly watching it over and over again.
And it's a wonderful movie. I'm not denying it for the time. Yes, he was a good Spider-Man. I'm not denying that. You know, Peter. I'm not talking about the actor now. I'm talking about the character. Good Spider-Man. Yes, he was strong. He was agility. He was a scientist. That's all. He was just a scientist. He was not smart with tech. He didn't even have a fucking cell phone. You didn't see any. He did not develop any technology through the whole movie.
No.
But Andrew Garfield reversed that. He had a cell. He had a really good computer. Yes, Toby had a computer, but it was like
yeah, but he was brought up on computers because his dad was a techie. What the fuck was that?
His dad wasn't in the picture.
Eh?
His dad was not in the picture.
No, but you had little clips of it.
Yeah, he was an infant.
His dad and his mother left him with his auntie and uncle, and they basically brought him up.
His parents weren't techie. They were spies.
But they worked for a company, Oscorp.
Again, they were spies.
They were spies, yes, but they used to work for a company called Oscorp. Right?
Oscorp.
That's yeah. But they also had like a little hidden area. They couldn't use the spiders. They were going to burn and destroy the spiders, right? In Oscorp. That's how. In the second one, that they.
So here,
What is
here,
his
I think
name?
you got a little
What's his name?
backwards, dude. You're on the right track, but you got a little backwards. Okay, so the backstory is his parents were spies. They were undercover working for Oscorp. That is correct. They weren't tech people. They were spies and scientists. They developed the science.
Spider.
I'm sorry.
They designed a spider, but there was a key flaw in it, right? When the spider bit Peter, it wouldn't. If the spider bit someone else, wouldn't work, wouldn't activate its power. But it would bit Peter because it had his DNA or genetics, whatever it was.
That is actually wrong.
Is it?
So it didn't matter who the spider bit; it would give him the same powers.
Okay.
So the spider. This is the backstory on the spider. All right, the spider. It depends which version you're looking at. The spider. Let's say use Amazing Spider-Man movie for 2012. All right, the spider was developed by man, I forget. Peter Parker's father. I can't remember his name right off my head. And
It doesn't matter.
And Dr. Connor.
Yeah.
They developed the spider for evolutionary. So it was supposed to be how to grow limbs back and all that stuff. All right. So they found, we can use the spider for military. For
Apparently, Eric's just made a post fan fiction, tagged you in it on Facebook.
All right. Let me finish for a second. All right. So those spiders were supposed to do other things, just not only to heal people. They could have used a webbing for a lot of things. You know what I'm saying? Like bulletproof vests and so on. And that's where everything went haywire. He says, "Listen, I didn't develop this for military purposes." And he ran with information to the government.
Yeah.
So the spider, it didn't matter who the spider bit. If it didn't bite me, you, Eric, Paul, anybody, it would still give you the same abilities.
Yeah.
DNA had nothing to do with that.
All right.
All right. Now go ahead.
No, I was just reading what he said.
All right. Come on, you're up.
I've got nothing to say to it. What more can I say? Everything that I thought was about it was completely wrong then.
I never said it was wrong. I said your theory is mistaken. Two different things.
Okay.
I never said it. And Eric's actually agreeing with me.
Bugger.
If you're gonna come, listen, bro. I tell anybody who's gonna come up here with Spider-Man, better have the A game. The only person who has beat me on Spider-Man debates is CQ. He's the only second other person who knows
Where
Spider-Man.
is CQ anyway?
I'm sorry?
Where is CQ tonight then?
Probably hanging out with his wife and kid. Weekends are a family day for him. He's a married man.
Yeah, that's what I should be doing. But yeah, I can't think of anything else, mate. I really can't.
So you could also have the debate in this one, and this is where Tobey and Garfield Spider are superior versus what's his name again?
Tom Holland.
Tom Holland. So Spider-Man and Amazing Spider-Man, they have their tragic origin story. They lose Ben Parker.
Yeah.
Both are similar stories but different.
Mm-hmm.
And in the first one, it was more story to the comic book, chasing a criminal who stole money from a wrestling show,
and then shot his uncle.
He stops him like, "Yo, dude, you don't want to do this." Pop, blows him, lays him down, runs the other way.
Yep.
The difference about that, Garfield was buying milk. The guy steals money from the bodega. It's like a little store they have here in New York. And that version of Peter Parker, Ben Parker, tries to stop him for that. Still shoots him and moves on. Both of them.
On the second one, didn't the second one who shot Ben Parker, didn't he turn out to be Sandman?
No,
didn't he turn into Sandman?
There were two partners.
Yeah, no, I'm on about the second one, on the second movie. The second part, Peter Parker. Because you got three Peter Parkers. You got the one who has the skin, the webs coming out of his skin, and you got the.
Again, you have to use the names, buddy. Tobey Maguire.
Thank you. I couldn't think of his name. I'll just call him Toby.
Bring it up to the screen. Or right in your hands.
Eh?
Put it up on your screen or right in your hands.
Sorry, I'm just trying to.
In the meantime, so Eric says Stanley and Steve Dickinson are the
creators.
Creators, and that's right. So the story behind Stanley is an interesting story. So they came up with the idea. They came up to him and says, "Listen, you need to come up with a new superhero comic character." Like, oh, great, that's easier said than done.
Oh shit, one button.
So as he's looking around, like he's all fly man. No, doesn't sound right. Bug man. No, that doesn't sound right. He came up with the idea, and all of a sudden he looks on the corner of his eye, and this spider's crawling up on a wall. It goes, Spider-Man. It goes, oh, I like the ring of that. And that rest is history.
Yeah.
That's how it was created. Over a bug crawling up on his wall. And the difference, I'll give you guys a little, also, Greg finished setting up himself. A little fun fact is Spider-Man and Stan Lee think that what he did with not only Spider-Man, all comic book characters, if he ate at 9th Street in Washington, for argument's sake, I'm just using examples, at a pizzeria called Tony's Pizza, Peter Parker will go eat there. He used real streets versus like DC made up some Gotham City, for example. It's not a real city. We all know that. Every city you see in the Marvel universe, it actually is a real city. Does that make sense to you, Eric? I mean, Greg?
You said about a real city? Sorry? I was trying to look up the names.
So when Stan Lee was running these comic books,
yeah,
he didn't use made up cities like Gotham City. He used New York, for example, where he lived in. All right.
Oh yeah, I know that. And
let's say if he ate at a restaurant off 7th Street in Washington or 9th Street and 8th Street, whatever, right? And the place was called Tony Pizza. Spider-Man or Iron Man or Captain America, all his characters will at some point go eat the same place he eats.
Yep.
And he might not use the same names, but he uses the same streets at least.
Yeah.
So go ahead now. What are you going to say?
Yeah, that's true what you're saying. I know about
facts.
that. Hey?
It's facts.
Yeah. What was that? What was the end of that episode of where they were in the Avengers? You got the them coming through the portal. The alien, Thanos' creatures were coming through the portal to Earth to attack it. What episode was that?
Episode. That was an episode. Movie, dude.
What movie was it?
That was probably Endgame.
Was it? Or was that the very first one where they all came together?
Endgame.
Was it?
You gotta get, dude. You're gonna do
Thanos. No. Thanos didn't appear in it.
Yeah, he did. He did snap.
I can't remember.
Bro, I'm gonna give you a little advice. If you're gonna do a show with comic books, do your homework, bro.
It's been a long time since I've read a comic book. Trying to think.
Go ahead, I'm listening, dude.
So I'm just trying to find it.
So the other one you may be thinking of is the Infinity War.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay, it's oh yeah, because Captain has a beard. Captain America has a beard at that point. And then towards the end of the film, they actually go and eat at a restaurant. And Captain America, if you actually noticed, doesn't eat fuck all. Because Tony goes up with a
So again, you
they
got
were
your
gonna,
stuff
they were
wrong.
going to nuke
You got
New
it wrong
York
again,
or
Greg. You
whatever.
got it wrong again, Greg. You got it wrong again. That was the first movie, Avengers. After that was a after screen credit. They were eating at I can't remember what they were eating, but it was Captain America, Scarlet Charlotte, Hulk,
Yeah,
Thor,
yeah.
and I think that's all. That's all the characters. If I'm not mistaken.
That's the first Avengers.
Yes, that was the first Avengers.
That's when I was on about them, where they bring the portal through. But they're coming through the portal at the top
Yeah,
in
but
the
but
sky.
when you said all of them come together.
I was with Loki. It was with Loki, who was being basically the boss of everything. The
No,
Hulk
he was getting controlled by Thanos in the background.
Yeah, in the background, but you didn't. That was the episode I was on about. That Thanos never showed up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but it was his monsters that came in. Shawarma, what do you call it?
Yeah, it's just a Middle Eastern food.
But anyway, trying to think of something.
You tell me because every argument you had so far, you failed.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm trying to think of something.
You're so unprepared today, dude. You know that, right?
I thought it was all about the movies and talking about the didn't think of the cartoons, the cartoon series or the comic books.
I said when I bring in comic books, we're gonna mention them, but we're not gonna bring them up.
Apparently they're
Those
bringing out
games.
dude. Apparently they're bringing out a new Spider-Man 4.
I think it's
Apparently
number
so.
3, actually.
No, they're bringing out a 4th one this year with Tobey Maguire.
No, that's a rumor. It's not coming out.
All right. Okay.
Toby's way too old to do that shit.
Oh yeah, it actually shows him with a grey beard and moustache.
I think I'm 9% sure that's a rumor.
I'll send you a link. It could be. I could be wrong. Click on it, you bugger.
Actually, I was wrong. Tobey Holland. This is the 4th one. It's coming out this next year. Brand new day. And I'm not counting the Avengers movies either.
Okay.
So we are talking about movies, shows, anime shows, and gaming. That's our debate tonight.
Yeah.
And I do have the link in the chat if you like that. I just ask, please follow the rules we have posted. All right. So what else you debate, bud? This is okay. I can't see it right. This is fake.
Is it?
Yeah, it's completely fake.
Okay, I was wrong. I actually can't think straight.
Because if he was coming back as Spider-Man, we would hear a lot more about it. But Toby is walked away far from that. And with all his back issues, he's not going to be able to play the role like he can. 100%. He struggled from what I heard and read. Again, I'm not positive about this one, but he struggled to play Spider-Man in what movie?
No Way Home.
No Way Home. Thank you. No Way Home. And that was a good movie too, if you think about it.
Oh, that was awesome. I love that movie. That's what I was about to say. You were saying about the 2 stories with the Peter Parker Uncle Ben dying. It didn't happen till that movie when they all got together with Peter Parker in the tragedy. He lost his aunt in it.
Yes. That part, but they didn't go back. They didn't do a backstory on Tom Holland like they used to because they want to go around in circles like they always do. Every time they reboot a series, they redo it, and reboot a series, they redo it, and reboot a series, they redo it. It
Yeah.
gets
Gets
bad.
old.
Yes.
I'm trying to think. What did you think of that movie anyway? All three of them come together anyway.
It was. I think it was awesome. To be honest with you, I'm not gonna say it's one of my favorite Spider-Man. Hang on. I don't think it's one of my favorite Spider-Mans. It's up there. My favorite one personally is Amazing Spider-Man 2. Again, I'm more biased with Amazing Spider-Man because I like the character.
Yeah.
Now, if I had a pick, and I had this debate with CQ, me and CQ were arguing when the movie came out before. Excuse me. He said to me, and I quote, not critique, saying, "There is no way in hell they're going to have 3 Spider-Mans that outdoing any good advertisement with posters, with trailers, rumors, something." The rumor was, it was a rumor, not confirmed rumor, just a rumor. There are going to be 3 Spider-Mans. They kept it so hush-hush. Nobody figured out. The day they came out, they found out. Before we move on, let's get this guy in here. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for our president.
Ow!
I swear, guys, this guy gonna kill him in concussion. Mr. President, how are we doing tonight, my man?
Doing okay. Just give me a second. I think my auto have a reverb. Just give me a second.
Yeah, take your time. So I was saying to Paul gets ready. So when that happened, I remember seeing the scene. I'm like, oh shit. I was right. The same day I saw that movie, I got out of the movie theater. I got on my phone. So who was right? He did not say a word to me. I called him out so fast, it's not even funny. So, do I think it's a good movie? I think it's a great movie, actually. I think it's probably, if I had to put movies in order, Amazing Spider-Man 2 is number 1, and what was it? No Way Home is my second favorite Spider-Man movie because they actually did a live action Spider-Verse.
I actually enjoyed that one so much. I watched it about 5 or 6 times. I enjoyed it so much.
It's a great movie. You can't go wrong. You cannot go wrong. So let's see what Eric has here. His last comment. He says, "I think it is a bit odd to include the games, but mix the comics. But it's your show. The reason I'm not bringing the comics because we're gonna be here all night. Like I said, we're bringing the shows, the movies, and the video games because the video games are not many. They're far between each other. So you don't have like every year a game come out like that. And then I'll tell you, oh yeah, well, maybe we should add comic books and gaming only. But because we sit here, if we debate the comic book, I think that's 2 different shows, personally. All right, Paul, you ready for this?
As much as I can.
All
but
right.
yes, I agree with you regarding the leaving the comics out. In fact, just going forward in any discussion, because I know we've tried to have shows on who could beat who based on the comics, but because of the scale, the sliding scale that the comics give you, it's almost impossible to do that. I mean, everybody from the Hulk. I mean, the Hulk is like planet busting now. He's so strong. He can beat Eternals. He can beat, it's just like the growing up like in the 80s, like there was something called the Marvel Universe. And the Marvel Universe, what I liked about it was it gave you like a ranking like on every character. So it was like an encyclopedia of all the characters, and it would break it down based on their intelligence, based on their strength, their speed or whatnot. And you had, for Hulk, he was like class 100, which meant that he could lift 100 tons. I mean, that's how strong he was, which is, ridiculous in and of itself. But now, again, it's like he can do 1,000,000 tons or whatever. So again, the way the comics are always increasing or enhancing the abilities of these characters, it's hard to know when you say, well, which character is best. You might as well just take the latest iteration of the character and then try to compare that. But again, the Flash, for example, when I was growing up, the Flash ran at the speed of sound.
I agree. I remember that actually.
So he ran 600 miles an hour, and now was fast enough to run on water. But then they brought in the Speed Force, and then he can run at the speed of light and beyond that. And it's just these ungodly levels of abilities that you just can't relate to it anymore. And so I would definitely, if you're going to try to have a comparison to any of these characters, I think you need a baseline. And I think the movies, whether you think of the movies are good or not, I think that's a fair arena to have it in. When we had the Superman discussion, I had to put that caveat in there that we're only talking about the Superman films. Forget the comics. Because again, they just go in the early age of the comics, the Silver Age, Superman didn't even fly. He jumped from place to place.
I don't remember that, to be honest with you, Paul.
Yeah, he was a leaper. He able to leap tall buildings in a single bound. But as far as him being able to fly, let alone fly at speed of sound, let alone fly at the speed of light, and just all these abilities, that stuff just wasn't there. So again, you get to a point where you say, okay, like enough. All right, they're all godlike now. And so, so I stopped trying to use the comic books as a for comparison, because again, it's just
Reference.
It's just too much. So I
don't mind if you say, for example, like I said earlier, the Spider-Man comics, all of them had web shooters, no organic spiders. That I don't mind. That's why I want to stick it to the movies, the shows, and the video games, because they're not like thousands of them, and we're not gonna be here all night. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And I'm not, and I don't have a lot of knowledge or background with the video games, except you talk about the old Atari 2600 Spider-Man game. That's the only way.
I don't have that sort of knowledge on the games.
I'll educate you guys as we go through the show, but we can talk about, at least about the movies. I know you watch the movies, and I know you probably watch a little bit of the 90s cartoon of it, maybe.
A little bit of 90s cartoon, and I actually watched the first live-action Spider-Man. Live-action Spider-Man came out in the late 70s, and that was around the time of the Incredible Hulk. So really, Marvel tried to actually do essentially an Avengers live action back in the late 70s.
That was
horrible. You had the Incredible Hulk TV series with Bill Bixby and Lou Ferrigno. I
loved that series.
You had the Amazing Spider-Man, which was a live action show. Not the greatest, but it was a live action Spider-Man. Then they did Captain America with Red Brown in the late 70s. And they even tried to do an Iron Man. They didn't call it Iron Man. They called him Exo Man. And it was about a guy who he had these, he got disabled in an accident or something. Mm-hmm. And he created this exosuit that he was able to, be powered up, and he was strong enough to solve crimes or whatnot. I mean, again, you look at it now, so it's awful, right? It's like, but again, this was the 70s. And again, technology wasn't what it is now. And so I guess they just kind of did the best. And there were some copyright laws, but you had Spider-Man, Captain America, Iron Man, and the Hulk. So they were trying to do like the Avengers back then. But like I said, it wasn't the greatest, but they tried back then. So I go all the way back to then when they tried to do that. But again, the standout, though, was the Incredible Hulk with Bill Bixby. And again, it was it focused so much. Why the show was so good, I thought, was because, again, it focused on the human element, the vulnerabilities, more so than Hulk just hulking out and breaking stuff. Yeah, that was cool. But again, they didn't make him super powered. He could get shot and you would have bullet wounds. Whereas, now Hulk, you can throw a nuclear weapon at him and he won't die. You know what I mean? So I'm just saying
there is one part of the Hulk. What was it? It was a movie in the early 2000s when they brought it out, where the more he gets angry, the bigger he gets.
Yeah, that was
another one I'm on about.
That was Ang Lee Hulk's 2003. Yes.
Yeah, that one.
So with this, the show you're talking about, it was called The Amazing Spider-Man. It came out in 1977. Actually, it was 2 seasons. I actually remember watching this back in Greece. Believe it or not, Paul. with subtitles.
Yeah.
And for the time that I watched the mid 90s, I think it was the coolest shit in the world back then.
Eric, Eric, you've
was-
been too bad. Felt me to a
Who was
bit.
the guy who played the Hulk back in, I think it was the early 80s,
Lou
mid
Fer-
80s, late 70s?
Lou
He
Ferrigno.
did an
Lou Ferrigno.
episode with Thor. Bloke, basically, Thor was dead, but the only way he could summon him was holding a hammer. And he used to shout out Odin.
You're talking about so what you're talking about is in the late 80s to early 90s, from 88 to 90, they
Yeah.
came up with 3 Incredible Hulk films. So again, they brought back Bill Bixby and they brought back Lou Ferrigno. Now it's interesting too, because Lou Ferrigno actually, he might have been his biggest version of himself, because he actually in his professional life, he actually came back to the stage in the late 80s, early 90s to compete in the Mr. Olympia. He was his biggest ever. When he was the Incredible Hulk in the 70s, he weighed 275, which was massive at the time in the 70s. He came back near over 300 pounds and competed on stage. So he was even more impressive in the comeback than he was in the original series. But they brought everybody back. It was 3 movies. One of them involved, as you said, Thor. One of them involved Daredevil. And they also had Kingpin in there. And he dies at the end. The last one, the death of the Incredible Hulk, where he falls out of a plane and he hits his head so hard that, again, it cracks the runway, but he dies from it. But again, from the comic,
movie is called The Incredible Hulk Returns. It came out in 1988.
That was the first one.
Was it the first one?
You had The Trial of the Incredible Hulk was the second one. And then and I forget what the last one was, but again, he dies in that third one, and that completed the 3-movie trilogy back there. But again, he died from falling out of a plane from a couple thousand feet. We know from even the movies and everything else that wouldn't hurt him at all. But like I said, that Hulk, he was more vulnerable. Yes, he was superhuman, but he wasn't so superhuman that you couldn't relate to him or feel for him when he underwent something. You know what I mean? It was a very human character, and that's why I think a lot of people to this day loved it. And then the whole thing at the end with the piano music at the end with David Banner sitting to ride somewhere. My wife to this day used to cry every time it used to come on, because that piano at the end, I think it's called The Lonely Man or something like that, whatever the narration was. But it was just, again, it was such a human driven show that it really resonated at the time, and talked about so many issues. It talked about child abuse. One episode where, again, he had to deal with his father who was beating the crap out of his kid, and he had to hulk up and deal with it and find out that the father he was abused as a kid. So again, they went deep with a lot of human elements to it. That really
absolutely
made
agree.
it wasn't just about him being super invincible in the show. So I to this day I have a lot of affection for the Incredible Hulk series of the 70s. And quite frankly, I would even say, and I know you've had Daredevil and you've had Power Man and Iron Fist, and you've had a lot of series that have come on since then that have been pretty good. I would still put the Incredible Hulk, the original TV show, as probably the best of all of the I'm talking TV series, not shows. I'm saying not movies, TV shows.
But if you're going to add the TV shows for that, and we'll get back in our original subject, Daredevil is technically a TV series, but just showed by Netflix.
Right.
And
And like I said, I've seen some, and like I said, it's good. But again, as far as the emotional aspect of it, like I said, I think that show was very special in the 70s. I mean, the writing, it just hit different.
I think you may like that more because that's the era you kind of grew up in.
Possibly.
So,
quick fun
in
fact
your case
about
right
Iron
now,
Man. Sorry.
I'm sorry.
So I was just saying, quick fun fact about Iron Man. Do you know there's an actual guy who created the Iron Man suit in Russia?
Yeah, I know that.
Yeah, I was just saying, quick fun fact. An actual guy actually created the suit and the power source and everything for it.
So, back to the same time. So, Paul, you've seen the shows, you've seen the movies. Who do you think, in your personal opinion, who's the strongest Spider-Man in your opinion, and why?
It's probably a toss up between uh Toby's Spider-Man, the reference being Spider-Man 2, where he has to stop the train and he's in front of the train and he's holding on to
Mhm.
stop the train going at full speed. That was impressive. But then Tom Holland and I forget it was the second, well really it was his first film. I don't know, Far From Home or whatever the
A
his
Homecoming.
Homecoming was, where there was like that ferry boat that was split in half and he had to basically hold it together. Again, that was pretty
I
impressive as
forgot
well.
about that one.
Plus there was a scene in Avengers Civil War where he basically catches a car when Tony Stark visits his house and he's playing his footage because he's trying to, he's not Spider-Man yet, but he has footage. He catches a car going at 40 miles an hour in midair, like just catches it like a
Mhm.
baseball. That's pretty impressive. That he's able to stop a car coming at him like that. So if you take that and you add what he did for the ferry to the ferry boat, I may have to get Tom Holland the edge. But again, that scene with Toby where he had to hold up or stop a full train, which would have just ripped his limbs off. I think that was pretty impressive also. So again, I think those are the two in terms of strength wise. Those are probably the biggest feats of strength I would say that I've ever seen Spider-Man do, certainly in a live action context. But even then, the whole thing is just like, with Spider-Man, which is consistent in the books as well as in the movies, he's always pulling his punches. So the thing is, you don't know how strong he is. Like I was actually kind of disappointed with the fight that he had with Captain America. Because, and I know a lot of people who defend Captain America, I'm sorry. There is no way that should have been even close. He's 10 times stronger than Captain America ever was. His spider sense is such. His reflexes are faster. He should have very easily beat Steve Rogers. And even then, but I think they made Steve Rogers in the MCU a bit stronger than what he was supposed to be. There was things that he did that no way he should have been able to do. And again, I know that's a sore spot with Cap fans, just like same with the Batman fans. But Spider-Man versus Captain America, there's this guy Danko who has these videos. It's not even close. And the fact that they made that fight close, I think that certainly hurt the case for Spider-Man that he couldn't beat Captain America, but he should have wiped the floor with Captain America.
I agree 100% because he was holding back. The way, okay, you come around, like say a roundhouse to his head, behind his head or something, whatever, behind a blind spot, his spider sense is going to kick in. He's a good Spider-Man. My personal favorite, like I mentioned, is always going to be Garfield. And I'm going to break it down for you guys why I picked that.
Okay.
Garfield he had a tech. He was a scientist too. He was strong. He had a lot of tragedy in his life. They built the Spider-Man he could be. So every time he was down, he always gets back up. Yes, I'll give you that. But I also feel Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man is a little weak because he has the organic spider webs. He knows he doesn't run out. So I can shoot all day. Oh, I don't have to run out. I'm good. So it doesn't matter how much he shoots. But when you have the organic, you have to think outside the box. I can only shoot this much or I'm going to run out. So that gives you the little bit of the edge. You have to keep that in mind.
Mm-hmm.
So strength wise, I think those two are going to be equal. But the same thing I'll argue with him. If you're going to use the organic spider web, you have to use Venom and Spider in that picture too. But we're going to hold off. That's what we're going to bring that in later on in a picture. That scene you're talking about, if I remember correctly, I might be wrong. He was using the Iron Spider when he caught the car. I'm not mistaken. The suit.
He was using what?
The Iron Spider? The suit the Iron Man gave him?
No. He didn't have a suit at all. At that point, he was just a mask. He put a mask on.
One at a time. Paul, you go first.
Go ahead, Greg. Go ahead.
No, he used an old uniform that he made up before Tony Stark came along.
Okay. Paul, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, to his point, 100%. He made his own kind of made up costume. It wasn't refined at all. Again, he didn't have a name yet. He didn't have an identity. But
Mhm.
again, Tony Stark was able to get the footage, and he was like in his apartment. Hey, you sure this isn't you? Hey, you're able to catch a car in midair. So I mean, again, he had abilities that far exceeded anything. I mean, to catch a car. Think about it: catching a car coming at you at 40 miles an hour, a 2-ton car. I mean, that's
Impressive. Let's be honest. Let's call it like it is. It's very impressive. I'll give you that.
The only
You know what,
question I
dude?
got
I'll be honest with you guys. I'm sorry.
Sorry, the only question I got was, with the other Spider-Man, the other two, the original two, right, before Tom Holland, right, they made their suits and they literally had their whole fingers and stuff like that covered, right? You know, where they climbed up the walls, that sort of crap, right? Tom Holland, when he made his suit, he left his fingers uncovered.
I don't recall that. I'm
Nope.
looking at the picture now.
I do.
No, you can't do that because you need to cover that. Because when you're touching things, you might have the little
I know, but
spider legs.
it's just-
Hang on, Greg. Let me explain why. The spider leg, but your fingerprint is going to be everything. So his identity is going to be out there in the public. And next thing you know, he's in handcuffs.
yeah.
It kind of kills the superhero factor.
Well, that was actually a problem for me with the first Spider-Man with Tobey's, because the fact that you saw that he did have those hair-like fingers, I'm thinking, how does that get through the suit? Like, if you cover your fingers up, can those hairs those hairs would have to stick through the suit in order so to me that was always something off the bat, because again the comics always play with that. Like, for a long time it was debated, how does Spider-Man cling to walls? Some people thought it was electrostatic, but then with the movie, they totally changed. So they changed Spider-Man in two ways. They went from the whole electro, because his whole body could stick to anything. It wasn't just his fingers or his feet, which is even more so. He's wearing boots. So how do his feet stick to walls if he's wearing boots? Those hairs or whatever it is can't be that long. And so, so again, I thought that was a character, or just uh, uh, I don't know what you call it, like a gap, if you will, in the logic. So the first thing, as you said, as far as giving him organic webs, I think that was a big departure from the traditional Spider-Man story.
If you
And
remember,
the
Paul,
fact that the reason why he stuck to walls was because of the little hairs in his fingers that grip
the
the
legs
walls.
almost.
It doesn't. Again, how does that happen with boots on? You can't do it with boots. So
Oi.
yeah.
Pete in the back. Link. There you are. See?
This
Yeah,
is
that
fake,
was the
bro.
original. Yeah,
That's
yeah.
fake.
No, that's
that's actually in the suit.
that's the
real.
suit that he had in Civil War when
No, the
when
pic-
Tony
no,
Stark
no,
went to his
you're right.
house.
The that is the picture, but I can see it right now. If you look the research right there on the bottom, the source from it is not the real suit we got. That was the fake. It was coming over around the internet when it first came out.
Okay.
His
His hands were covered the whole time. If you go back watch the movie, you'll see his hands were covered the whole time.
Okay.
But even
I was
if
wrong.
even if they were uncovered, the fact that he has the suit that Tony gave him, now they're covered. So again, it wouldn't matter then. At that point, we know they were covered with the suit that Tony gave
Agree.
him, and the suits that he happened after, the exo suit, the space suit, and all the other suits that he had. His hands were covered. So again, that to me is a major gap in the storytelling, because again, it makes more sense that he has an electrostatic attraction to objects versus something physical where he has to make physical contact with his hands, because
See,
all that
I
goes out
was
the window
also-
with that.
I also hated the factor that they came organic web shooters. I think that's the most stupidest thing I've ever seen. Because it takes the fighting scenes. It takes a lot out of it. Like when you're fighting, you have to think, oh, I gotta watch how much web I'm using before I run out. It didn't make any sense to me, that part.
Well, the only thing I would say is I thought that the organic shooters was, because honestly, probably my favorite Spider-Man movie is probably Spider-Man 2.
Of which one?
Spider-Man 2, Tobey Maguire.
Okay, because there are two Spider-Man. Because there's Spider-Man
Yes,
Amazing, and
correct.
I just want to be a little specific, if you don't mind.
Yeah, Spider-Man 2, 2005, I guess it was. But that one with Dr. Octopus, that is my favorite. But again, one of the things that they did was, again, he had a mental block where he couldn't shoot.
I remember that one. I remember.
And so again, so you made it. So yes, you could say, yeah, it's convenient. He always has web fluid, but again, because he had this mental anguish and trauma
he
over
lost
being
all his
Spider-Man,
powers.
he lost his mojo. And it wasn't until Mary Jane was captured by Dr. Octopus is when he got it back. And they even talked about that even in the last Spider-Man movie where all three characters was there. He said, yeah, I had a mental block where I couldn't shoot the web fluid and stuff. So it was I thought it was a great plot device to set up the second film and just the things he had to go through in the second film before he became Spider-Man again. So I agree with I agree with that.
Yeah, because I remember going to comic book stores, and I'm not going to go too much into it, and we were literally having humongous debates about this. Like, no comic book, again, I just want to very fast, and I'm going to move on from it, is they said, no, again, I know you read comic books like myself. I don't remember even one comic book mentioned organic website except the Venom and Spider suit. That's the only one. Please correct me if I'm wrong, Paul.
Hang on. Say that one more time. Just want to make sure I get you.
Spider-Man, and he's a good form. Never had organic Spider-Man web shooters in the comic book series.
True.
Except Venom, the Venom series.
Right, with Venom, yeah. When he had the black suit with the symbiote, yeah, that was an inorganic source. I agree there for sure. But then now it's interesting you mentioned Venom, because again, the question is, which was the strongest Spider-Man? Now you could make a case that it was actually Spider-Man 3, because again, the Venom suit, which was the black suit in the comics, he was more amped up. He was stronger and more physical, and certainly more physically aggressive, because the symbiote started to mess with his mind a bit. So again, that Spider-Man versus any other movie version of Spider-Man, that would be formidable. It's just that the symbiote, it was just, kind of messing with him, but he was stronger in that iteration of the suit. So we may have to give the symbiote suit an advantage.
Thank you for bringing it up, because I brought it up a little bit before he came on. So I am going to give him a little edge, and not much an edge, because you don't forget his life form is taken over from an alien species.
Right.
So you got to keep that in mind. So if you, like I said earlier to Greg, when he's wearing the Venom suit or the aka Black Spider-Man suit, either one you want to call, he's increased from 10% strength from normal to 20%. I'm just using numbers. I'm not going exactly here.
Yeah.
So don't quote me here. So another percentage of web shooters. You have agility. He's a lot smaller with his suit. Everything, he's the normal Peter Parker times 50. But also he's aggressive.
Yeah.
Very angry.
Doesn't pull his punches. Yeah.
He's a-hole, in other words.
Yeah.
Through the whole thing. I'm gonna bring the games in here really fast. Marvel Spider-Man 1 and 2. Marvel Spider-Man 2, they actually introduced the Venom suit as Spider-Man, and through the whole part of it, he was a-hole. Eventually, Harry gets the suit, not Brock. Harry gets it in some show. It depends on which version you're reading. And he becomes a big a-hole too. But he was more aggressive. Right. If you watch the Venom show, movies, not great movies. Let's call it A's and A's, but they do represent him a little bit. He's very strong. He's an a-hole, and he eats people.
Yeah.
Still all the same factors. So if you want to use him as a factor, he has a slight edge. Where he doesn't have a slight edge is his weakness. Do you remember his weakness, Paul?
Sound, right?
Sound. Bingo.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you have like high pitched sound like a bell, game over.
Yeah,
lost.
yeah, it was definitely a weak spot. But honestly, but the way Marvel has dealt with Venom throughout, I mean, you want to talk about that's probably the biggest departure out of any character in Marvel. Because again, the original storyline, Eddie Brock. I mean, I didn't like from Spider-Man 3, I didn't like that version of Eddie Brock.
No, it was weak, very weak.
Very weak. And then this one here, and even in the
Amazing.
Venom series, Eddie Brock in that one, yes,
Weak,
it's
yeah.
it's the guy who played Bane. That's how big he should have been before the symbiote got with him. Because
Yes, but as a character, not shape. The character, very, very weak again. Because
yeah,
he
that's what I'm
he
saying. But
wasn't hurt anybody.
and that's the point. I mean, the fact that why is Venom stronger than Spider-Man is because Eddie Brock is stronger than Peter Parker. That's the advantage that he has. He went after he got fired from the Daily Bugle, he got really depressed and he basically became a bodybuilder.
Correct.
Got up to like a 260-pound bodybuilder and he was still full of rage. And then when the symbiote rejected Spider-Man, he bonded with him because they both had a mutual hatred for Spider-Man. So certainly from the Spider-Man 3, at least they got they got the hatred thing right. Both the symbiote and Eddie Brock hated Spider-Man, but the advantage that Eddie Brock had was because he went through that training regimen in order to become much stronger, and that then augmented his strength even more when he got in the suit. And that also explains his size, why he was so much bigger, because he became this very muscle-bound, huge guy through the physical training. And they totally, both in the Spider-Man 3 and in the Venom franchise, they did away with all of that. And so, but I certainly, as far as Venom, the character, I thought they got a lot of that right. I just didn't like the Eddie Brock portion of it, how they just totally went away from the origin of that in the series. But again, a Venom suit Spider-Man would be very formidable against any other Spider-Man for sure.
Really fast, I would say the character, the actor's name is Toby Topins Grayson. I may pronounce that wrong. I don't like
Yeah.
the actor for that role. I don't think it was a bad pick for him. I
Yeah,
don't think he should take it because he's from the '70s show, if you remember.
correct. Yeah,
And
it just it didn't work for me either. But that movie, I think they were trying to do too much anyway. It's very difficult to have one film that has all these characters in it. I thought the last Spider-Man movie was able to do it because they had multiple films and they simply brought those characters back.
Mhm.
But the fact that you had in that movie, you had Sandman and you had Green Goblin or the I forget
The New Goblin.
right? You had him and you had Venom. It's like you're trying to do too much. And the thing is, you have to define each one of those characters within the same film. That's very difficult to do.
So really fast on that, they did too much. One thing I almost, not literally, kind of puked in my brain. The New Goblin costume was horrible.
Mhm.
It was never a new Goblin. There was always a Green Goblin. It was like father to son mantle kind of thing.
Yeah.
It was always the same suit. I thought the first suit wasn't great, but it made sense.
Yeah.
Because in reality, you're not gonna have the mask flopping all over the place.
Yeah.
That made sense. But they changed it to this sky surfer thing. That made no
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
That absolutely had nothing to do with the game. Sandman, hands down, perfect. I'll give him that.
Right.
New Goblin? Well, these guys on crack. Please tell me they're on crack, Paul. Please tell me they're on crack. Please, just please tell me they're on crack. Greg, please tell me
They were on crack.
Thank you. Somebody was on drugs that day.
Mm.
I understand Sony does this multiple times, and this is what frustrates me with any Marvel movies. When Sony owned them, it's a little different now. But then Spider-Man is the only IP they still own. They know how to screw up pretty bad,
Right.
and they never ends. Somebody explain that to me. Let me ask you a quick question, Paul and Greg. I know you already answered this, Greg, but you, Paul, Spider-Man, the last one, all three of them. I'm gonna look up the name. I can't. There's so many names. It's hard to remember all of them. When all three Spider-Mans came together, what's your opinion?
Oh, I loved it. I thought it was again very well done. Now again, and
Mhm.
especially because I'm not a fan of the multiverse. I think the multiverse in all of these superhero movies, I think it's just gone too far, right? It's too hard to keep a track of. You know, even with the Doctor Strange 2, I didn't really like because of that. But the multiverse has basically taken over all of these superhero franchises.
I
And I
agree.
just think it has to. I think it needs to end. The last Deadpool movie, again, they went overboard with it. The animated, the Spider-Man Into the Multiverse.
You didn't like
You
that
know,
one?
it was too much. How many Spider-Man that you dealt with? It was just like an infinite amount of
Hold on.
of Spider-Man overall. Even
Hang on, one second,
the
Greg.
first one, you had about three, right? It had Miles Monroe, and you had the original Spider-Man, and maybe a couple more. But then the other movie, it was like an infinite number of Spider-Man, and it
Okay.
just, to me, it just gets too much to take control. But I thought that to your question, bringing all three together, I thought that was great the way they did it. I love the interaction between them. I love the ending of it all. And I'm like, okay, if you stop there, I can get with it. But like the last Deadpool movie, we had all those iterations of Deadpool and whatnot. I thought again, it gets too cumbersome when you bring that much into it. The multiverse, for some reason, they just put all their chips in on that being the center of any storytelling within the Marvel universe, and sometimes even in the DC universe. And I think it's hurting. I think it's gone too far.
So, Greg, you go first.
Well, I thought it was pretty good, but if you think about it, in the cartoon TV series, they actually brought all the Spider-Men together in the multiverse, didn't they? The multiverse was back in the cartoons and all in the comics.
It may have been. I didn't follow. Sorry.
I can't, I'm only joshing because, as I said, it's been over 30 years since I would last had my hands on a comic.
The newer comic books, they do have the multiverse. That's where it first started from.
Okay.
The older version, what Paul and Eric grew up, and I did, and you did probably, didn't have it. That wasn't a thing. They had a very small team. Like you had Spider-Man and a clone Spider-Man called the damn, what is it called? Charlotte Spider. And
Yeah.
the only other bits of it you see of it is 2099 Spider-Man, and where the Charlotte Spider, another one, who they did a movie about it. It was a horrible movie. That she pinks the 10 most strong Spider-Man, teams them up to defend Earth. That was I think a 1 or 2 book series. I can't remember. Eric, if you remember that series, can you please drop it in the comment, please? Also, I dropped CQ's Facebook because I know I mentioned him a couple of times. I want to give him a little shout out. So guys, check his channel out too, because he has some great content on that side too. But like I said before, me and him used to argue about this before the movie could release. It was nothing to be out. No advertisement, no leaks, nothing. There were leaks, but not confirmed leaks. When it came out, you know me, Paul. I love rubbing it in people's face when I'm right?
Mhm.
It's like, you know, I was on the phone as soon as I could on that one. But I'm gonna up you a little bit here on this debate. Both of you guys. Both of you guys have Tobey. You also add in Venomous Spider. But nobody mentioned about Spider-Man 2099. And he was in a series already a couple of times. In the anime series, at least.
The anime series.
Yeah. Do you know who Spider-Man 2099 is?
No.
All right, I'm gonna bring some information up for you guys. A little, let's do a little education.
Oh, well, though, while you're doing that, I must say that again, if you want to talk about strongest Spider-Man, do we need to then bring up the Spider-Man, at least the suit from Endgame, or even
Iron
prior to
Spider-Man.
that? Yeah, I mean the one where it's got
Tom
the
Holland.
tentacles that are coming out.
I'm going there. Actually,
Yeah.
Just hang on one second. So I'm gonna bring
Sure.
some information up for you guys. Spider-Man 2099 is a character. where is it? I just had it right here. Future character that is based in 2099. His grandfather is Peter Parker. He does not have the spider abilities, but he creates the spider abilities through the suit.
Mhm.
But the suit is not exactly the same. He can fly. He can jump higher. He has claws. He can go stealth. It's a little different. The main character name is, I don't remember the main character. Okay, do I have it here? Here we go. Let me see what it says here. It was developed by Peter. We know that already. Here he goes. Miguel O'Hell is his actual name, and he wasn't white, actually, believe it or not. They did it different. It was Irish Mexican background. He had DNA from Peter Parker, very fine, small DNA. He found out, and he created a suit. So in some games, in some anime series, he does a little pop up. The second multiverse movie, he comes in and he stops all this Miles Morales and Peter Parker's. Yo, you guys are screwing up the timeline, going back and forth for all this shit. You guys cut this shit off,
Right.
because he is a real scientist, not Peter Parker's level. I mean, like head level shit.
Mm.
So that's why
Yeah.
he came in the fat picture. Now
Yeah.
you have a good point, Paul, about Iron Spider-Man. He has a tech suit. Why can't we bring Iron Spider-Man? Absolutely. But I'll give you two versions, my man. I'm gonna up you one a little bit. All right. You
Okay.
have version 1 from Endgame, Tony Stark's version. All right. You know the deal. Tony Stark made the suit. He developed it around Peter Parker's abilities to up it by 10%, even with a kill strike. All right. But a Marvel Spider-Man, Peter Parker developed his own version of Iron Spider with similar ability, not every ability, similar, with spiders coming out from his back, the extra horns. I don't know. Spider legs. There you go. Extra spider legs, web shooters, spider throws, all that stuff. The only ability he does not have is a kill strike, but he has an overkill instead. It won't kill anybody, but he will go, if he is getting attacked by 20 people, he hits overkill and he takes them all out one shot.
Mhm.
So you got the information. Tell me what's your comeback on that one now with those three.
I would still go with Tony's suit
Really?
because I think Tony is going to build in contingencies that I don't even think Peter Parker would even think about.
He didn't build any contingency.
I'm just saying, I think it
I'm saying
would.
he did it.
You're asking me in a fictional fight between the two. I'm
Yeah.
saying we only saw what was necessary for Peter with Tony's suit. So in what was it? In the what was the movie before Endgame? It was the Infinity War, right? When they're going into space. And again, he has the Spider-Man, basically the metallic suit that has, like you said, the kill switches and things of that nature.
Basically, all the babysitting stuff.
It was a what?
Babysitting stuff.
Babysitting?
Everything to keep Peter safe.
Okay, yeah. But I'm just saying, but that suit, I think Tony would have had, especially just knowing the enemies and whatnot they had to go against. I mean, again, they were going to face Thanos. So it would have had to have had some additional abilities in there, especially when they all tried to fight Thanos at the end. I don't know if Peter's suit would have been able to handle that. So I think Tony is always going to put, just like with his Iron Man suits, he always has something built into the suit as an extra layer of protection or whatever. That's part of his personality. So I'm going to trust Tony with the tech over Peter. But it's interesting that you mentioned that about Peter, because I thought that each movie Peter Parker was different. The Tobey Maguire Peter Parker, he was a smart college student.
Correct.
But it was Andrew Garfield's character that I would probably say was the smartest.
Correct.
Like he actually figured out, like in the second Spider-Man 2, he was figuring out formulas and stuff from his father's notes and sharing that with the doctor who was ultimately the Lizard. Whereas even the The Tom Holland Spider-Man, again, he was a smart college student, an A student, but he wasn't a scientist. Now, again, I think the comics have kind of played with this also, in that Peter Parker is supposed to be one of the smartest scientists. He's not Reed Richards, and he's not Shuri from Black Panther or Bruce Banner. He's not on their level, or certainly not Tony Stark's, but he's pretty smart. They never really showed that, even with the Andrew Garfield. They never really showed that a lot in there, but he was clear as well. He made his own web shooters.
Correct.
Using the Oscorp tech. He was able to fashion that. And like I said, he was able to do scientific calculations at a level that even baffled his the doctor who became I forget his name.
My little push up back to this, not much, very little. So with Garfield's, the movie Far From Home. This is when Tony already has passed on us. He already crossed, right. And then Happy comes with the plane, picks him up, and goes back to New York to stop. What's the villain's name? What is his name? Mysterio. Mysterio is going to release his identity, and as they're flying, he goes, "Hey, help yourself and build yourself a new suit."
Right.
He built it, but he didn't design it. He just designed it. He didn't, literally sit there and pick the parts and build it.
No, it's fabricated. He put in what he wanted, and then the
machine did it.
The AI fabricated it. Yeah.
Correct. So I'll probably put him in second place as the smartest. If I have to put him in order, Garfield number 1, Holland number 2, and Tobey last place.
Personally. Yeah, I would agree with that. With that.
Because that's how. Now, if you're gonna add the Marvel Spider-Man game, now that changed a little different. I know you don't know too much about it, but Spider-Man Marvel, he built his own suit from scratch, everything from scratch. Right. He was a real scientist. He worked with Dr. What's his name? Octopus. Octane. Right. He worked with him before he goes crazy, and he built a iron suit with him. He got the designs originally from Dr. Ock. And he goes, he can't do that, what can I build a suit around my powers now? And he did that. So now I'm going to change the lineup a little bit. If you guys don't know it, Garfield, gaming, number 2.
Oh, yeah.
And then number 3, you're going to add Holland, and last play, number 4, I will go Tobey as smartest, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
because if you're going to add the shows from in here, you can't. The only show you can add a little bit. I don't know if you remember the show, The Ultimate Spider-Man. You guys remember that?
No, not off top.
So Ultimate Spider-Man, he had nanobites. Pretty much, he hit a watch. Little mini bots come out and build his suit around his body.
Right.
You couldn't add that, but that goes to the same Spider-Man that was from 1998. Was the series, Paul? You remember? You know what I'm talking about?
You talking about the animated show, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think it was definitely in the 90s. I forget
That was a spinoff.
Right.
Let's forget it for a minute. It wasn't. It didn't get hit well with audience. I think it was a pretty good series.
Right.
But he built a lot of powers out of it. Stealth, automatic web shooters and reloaders, and stuff like that. Can you really use that? I'm going to say no to this conversation, because we're talking about same Spider-Man but different timelines again, and I don't think that's going to get too complicated, and we're not going there tonight.
Right.
Can we agree on that?
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah. So again, let me ask you this question. Okay, I know you're not a big fan. Both of you guys are a fan of the I know, Paul, you're not a big fan of it, at least. With the Spider-Verse, did you even watch the Netflix series of that, the 2 movies, before Disney bought them?
No. What's in that? Wait a minute. You're talking about the Wanda series?
No. I'm talking about the Spider-Man in the Spider-Verse. The main character wasn't Peter Parker, actually, was Mara Morales. I can
No,
understand
right.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I saw both films. The second one, I actually went to the theater and saw it. Um, so what's your question,
My question is, the Mara Morales as a Spider-Man, because he is a Spider-Man.
right?
What do you think about the character? Would you add him to this fold?
In terms of strengths and abilities, I didn't see anything about him that was overly impressive. I mean, he had spider powers and abilities and whatnot, but I didn't think that he um uh did anything or had abilities that made him more special than any other iteration, especially in the last one where you had it was basically a team of Spider-Man going up against every other Spider-Man, right? I mean, you had I guess that group that was created and all these people that you had Spider-Woman, you had there was like 4 or 5 key Spider-Man type of figures, and they were going up against basically everybody else.
Mhm.
I didn't think anything that was unique about Miles Monroe that says, "Oh man, he's so much more powerful than the original Peter Parker," from universe, whatever 616 universe or whatever. I didn't see anything in him that was that special. If anything, his background, maybe being Afro Latino and just his roots and his family structure and whatnot, maybe that may have given him a perspective that the other characters didn't. But as far as powers and abilities, I didn't see anything in him that was overly unique. He was a very smart high school student. He was able to certainly fashion a few things for himself. But again, as far as compared to like the movie actors or whatnot, no, I would still think that Andrew Garfield was by far the smartest of the Spider-Man, in terms of just as a not the smartest of the Peter Parkers, I would say.
So I'm going
Yeah.
to give a little backstory on this a little bit more. Okay. So in the game, there are two versions of the game. All right.
Mm.
Peter Parker version and Spider-Man Miles Morales. His powers are a little more advanced than you think. So he has electrical punches, electrical jumps, and he has a little more agility than the regular Spider-Man does.
Mhm.
So he can come with electrical punch and literally knock everybody out, like 10, 20 people at one shot. So in that factor, he is a little more stronger. But what he lacks, and it shows very much in the games, is experience. He goes off emotions a lot because he's a high school kid end of the day. Let's keep that in mind.
Yes. Yeah.
Versus that. Paul, do me a favor, take over a second because I'm having a little technical issues if you see here.
No problem. Yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
But certainly, I didn't like I said, I still as a high school student, which again that spots me too. So what version of Spider-Man, Craig? I mean, in the original comics, he was a college student, right? So they've gone back and forth between him being in high school and then being in college. I thought that the whole spider incident, he was a college student at NYU.
I remember
When,
him being in
when
school. That's as far as it was, right?
yeah,
As I
but it was
said,
a
it's over
college
30
campus that
years
he was
ago
on. He
since I
wasn't
last had my hands on a comic. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Even back then, I actually had one of the very first issues of it, as you guys would call it, the very first one of it. And it was probably worth something now, but back then it probably wasn't very much. My mum's ex-partner destroyed it.
Mm.
But I didn't really watch the TV series, the cartoon animated ones, whatever you want to call them.
Right.
I already explained this to Peter, because my brother had always had priority on the TV. If he wanted to watch something, he's come first anyway. But the movies, I've always preferred the first Peter.
Toby.
Yeah, thank you.
Mhm.
Yeah, I preferred him because of the strength. And I watched that several times.
Mhm.
Personally, I think he had a lot more emotion in the movie.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think so. I would
He had a little bit more emotion to it, a little bit more feeling to it. I believe
that's
he did.
tough because Andrew Garfield I almost thought was too emotional.
All right, guys, can you hear me
Yeah.
now?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can
All
hear
right,
you.
sorry about that, guys.
Yeah, I
All
would
right,
say
where are you
I
guys
may
at now?
say
Because I had to unplug myself for a minute.
yeah, I may say Andrew Garfield. He was an emotional mess in the film. Like he was like totally different. Also, in that he was, I mean, Peter was a nerd, certainly, but in the Amazing Spider-Man, I just thought that Garfield Spider-Man was like so just disconnected, you
Mm.
know. Again, he didn't handle because again he had to deal with what the other Spider-Man didn't, which they didn't explore in those movies. He had to deal with two crises,
Mhm.
right? They went back and they know when his parents left him. So he had to deal with that trauma, which was never dealt with. The other two franchises, the other two guys didn't deal with that. And he had to deal with the death of Uncle Ben.
Yeah.
Like all three dealt with something. I mean, obviously with the last one, the last part, Tom Holland's, he dealt with the death of Aunt May.
Yeah, but that
But
wasn't until later on.
correct.
Little correction, Paul. I actually had 3 traumas for him. Actually, 4. Trauma 1 was Uncle Ben dying. Trauma 2, his girlfriend's father died in his arms. Trauma number 3 was his parents, the backstory of his parents, and trauma number 4, Gwen died in his arms also, trying to save her.
Yeah, but I'm talking about leading up to the character.
Okay.
I'm saying those the other franchises didn't deal with. Obviously, he was being raised by his Aunt May and Uncle Ben, but no, the first Tobey Maguire series, they didn't even talk about his parents at all. We didn't even know who his parents were.
Correct.
And the same thing with Tom Holland. We don't know who his parents were.
Yeah.
Correct.
But Garfield Spider-Man, he knew his parents. His parents basically bounced. Like they just left him.
Yeah.
He saw them leave.
That goes back. Is that the one that had the parents as spies? You were saying earlier.
Correct.
Yeah.
Thank you. Sorry,
Yeah.
beat him on.
So his parents left, and then he had to deal, and you could tell in the film because he had a fight with Uncle Ben before Uncle Ben died. Talk about where are they? What happened to my parents? And it was like, and then Aunt May tried to correct him. He was like, "How dare you?" He's like, "No, how dare you?" Like he never his trauma was never dealt with. So that's why I always thought he was definitely he was an angrier person to begin with. Before Uncle Ben died, that was never dealt with. And now you're going to add Uncle Ben's death on top of that. I thought he was an emotional mess. So again, I think the character itself was intended to be a little bit older, at least mindset wise, mostly because he dealt with a lot more trauma than the other two Spider-Men did.
Okay. Yeah.
Trauma wise, I agree 100% on that. He has a lot more trauma. Like I mentioned a minute ago, he had 4 trauma in the whole 4 movies.
Mhm.
Both movies, the first one he had 2, and the second one he had 2. And so the guy couldn't get a break, I felt. And that's why he was always angry. He didn't know how to deal with that.
Yeah.
Versus the other ones, they just put the suit on and move on.
Yeah.
And in real life, let's be honest, I think that's I feel like he's more down to earth a little bit. Because if you have that many deaths in your life, bro, could you deal with it?
Yeah, I mean, especially like I said, and you got to make a distinction between trauma as a child versus trauma as an adult.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? So I think that's something that really, but again, like I said, that's why I think that's what made his characterization different from any other characterization. I mean, Miles Gonzalez, he had his parents, right? I mean, he had
correction. He actually loses his father in the first in the beginning of the games and the comic books.
Okay, but in the movie, his father was there.
Yes, his father died in line of duty. Actually.
Right, his father was a well, no, not in the movies.
Not in the movies. I said not in the movies. I said gaming.
Right.
Comic books.
Right.
His father gets what's the right word I using in killed in action, pretty much in a line of duty. I think that we're allowed to say that actually in on YouTube world.
Right.
And he was doing his job. He was a cop.
Right.
And he wasn't angry because he what happened. He was angry at the person who took his father away. And you see in his second the storyline in the game was he shows up in Spider-Man, Marvel Spider-Man, then he The second game he shows up is his own one, Spider-Man Mirage, and you see him. He's very angry. He's going after the person who took his father away.
Right.
The whole game, he's going after this person. I want him. And everybody's telling me you don't want to do this because you're going down a dangerous path.
Yeah. Yeah.
And eventually he just puts him behind bars anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. Although, hang on, but before you go, yeah. The angry Spider-Man we're saying is, again, Garfield. I thought he was the angry one because he had a lot of stuff that wasn't dealt with.
Yeah, I agree with that.
But before we go on, we have to talk about the most powerful, arguably the most powerful Spider-Man. And
this one.
And this is Eric's favorite. We have to talk about the Sentai Spider-Man.
Eh?
The Japanese Spider-Man. There was back in the 70s. Back in the 70s, there was a Japanese version of Spider-Man. It followed a Sentai version of Spider-Man.
Well, that's new to me.
And yeah, so it's
actually
we found this out back in the day when you still had VHS. So we had a guy.
I remember this actually.
He used to sell like, you know, bootleg VHS tapes and whatnot. So we actually were able to catch a few episodes of it. So yeah, so it was like an alien. It was an alien version of Spider-Man, but he had a spider car, and he had his own giant robot. He had his own, like, just like with the Voltrons and whatnot, he had a super robot at the end. He had a super robot at the end.
Eric.
Who upset Eric.
Good night. Is that enough?
Who he used to beat the bad guys at the end. So you always had this big monster that started out small. He would blow up to giant size. The Spider-Man would then call his robot car and summon his giant robot. He would go into the robot, merge with it just like the Power Rangers, and he would take out the bad guy, the giant monster guy at the end. So that might be the most powerful Spider-Man at all. But
I'm sorry,
I just want to remind Eric.
That just ruined it for me.
I just want to remind Eric of that one. That might be the most powerful. Since we're talking about movies and TV, the Japanese Spider-Man might be the most powerful Spider-Man at all. But
if I recall correctly, Paul, please correct me. He didn't just, take his clothes off and put his suit on. He actually called his wristwatch his powers.
Yes. So we're coming. Yeah, the Spider-Man was actually an alien. He is it's almost like the Green Lantern, right? He runs into this guy, and he Spider-Man.
If I remember correctly, he didn't only have a car. He also had, it was called a spider bike too. It was like a cop bike almost, back in the Japanese bike with the big glass over the thing, and he was like,
I don't remember the bike. I don't remember the bike.
Spider-Man.
Yeah, I don't remember the bike too much, but
that's going to straight as my eggs. I've never even heard of it.
But I just want to mention that because, again, it didn't last for, like most of those Japanese shows. They didn't have long TV runs, but it was part of it. They had that. I guess Marvel struck up that deal in, I think it was 1978 when that came out. But again, as goofy as all get out. I mean, if you ever watch any footage of it or whatever, it's crazy. But and then the last thing I'll do, I have to give one more shout out.
Of course you do.
To arguably one of my favorite Spider-Man of all time. And this is from the Electric Company version of Spider-Man. So again, growing up, there was a kid show on PBS. It was called the Electric Company. And they had a spot or signal in there where they would have the Spider-Man. Yes, the Spider-Man, the animated Spider-Man, or the Kaiju or Sentai Spider-Man from the 70s. That was a show. But again, they had a segment on the Electric Company using Spider-Man, and that was pretty fun too, just seeing that. But just from my childhood, we all look forward to those segments when they came on the Electric Company back in the day. So Craig, you probably know nothing about this, but that was a popular segment on a kid. It was a children's television program meant to teach you literacy and things of that nature, words and all that kind of thing. So sorry, Eric.
the spider
Yes.
bike.
Yeah.
The
Okay.
spider bike.
Gotcha.
You see what I'm saying? It has the eyes and everything. It has
So
a
look,
suit.
so he had the bike, he had the car, which is a cool car, and then he had the robot. So again, if you talk about giant robots, at the end, I gotta give him some love. In
So the idea behind this, when they when Master Who approached to, I don't know if it is Japanese studios approached Marvel, or Marvel approached them. They were thinking of Mask Rider. Mask Rider is a Kamaha series who takes embryo bugs as powers, like the Kamen Rider, who use the Spider Knight, or the Dragon Knight. They use from the Dragon Knight is off a dragonfly, and so on.
Mhm.
They were going off that kind of vibe, but unfortunately, only Eric likes that series. So you're welcome, Eric. This is an early present from me to you, my man. It didn't do well. Didn't do well even in Japan. It flunked really bad. And yes, Eric, Kamen Rider, that was the series based off. The Spider-Man was supposed to be based off that, and eventually spin on into Kamen Rider and be a team up, like similar to what they did with the Power Rangers before the Power Rangers was a Power Ranger thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if that makes sense to anybody.
It does. I mean, I get it, but it was definitely a very that was a very polarizing time. When we got those things, I think might have got those in the 90s. Like I said, we didn't even know. I think we were in this guy Gene. He had a store at the flea market. He got all kinds of like Japanese imports. So he had like Godzilla action figures. He had laser discs, or he would like get tape movies off of laser discs and sell them. So it was just like a bootleg. So we saw, I think one time we would go to the flea market almost every week. And so we would stop in, and we saw the Japanese or the Sentai Spider-Man. It's like, oh, we got to get this. You know what I mean? So it was very yeah.
So it was 3 suits, obviously 4 suits. If you the main character, Spider-Man, Spider Alien, they couldn't come up with a better name. New Spider-Man, okay, and they later on towards the end, before it got canceled, they had the Venomous Spider, and you see right here, it's not not the greatest suit. Interesting, I'll give him that. But with the original Spider-Man, if I can see, I'll find another picture, a better one. With the original suit, here you go. It's not a bad suit.
Yeah,
I'll be honest with you, it's not a bad suit.
But I mean, the special effects were bad. I mean, it was
Of course.
again the Spider-Man from 1977 that you were talking about earlier, the American production. Again, that was pretty cheesy. The Japanese Spider-Man was even cheesier in terms of the fighting sequences and whatnot. It was silly. I mean,
so let me ask you a question, this Paul. And this is off topic. We're gonna start closing very soon. Just want to ask you this question. So the newer version of Spider-Man's in the games and in the comic books, he actually glides. He has a glide. He comes in. He has little wings on the bottom. You've probably seen some comic books.
That goes all the way back. He had that in the 70s.
Yeah, but he never really used it as much back then. The wings. He had it, but he never really used it. He used to use the swinging from building to the building. Now him gliding through the through New York City. How do you feel about that versus him, web slinging instead?
I don't mind it. Like I said, I mean, we saw the things in the 70s, so it was just assumed that he would use them to do some gliding with or whatever. So I think it's nothing that's going outside of canon, because because they were in the in the comic books, and we, like I said, we just assumed that it helped him either, if not glide, but also move a bit differently or whatever. And that was definitely a 70s convention. So I don't think it takes away from, and it probably saves him some, because I remember in the last movie with all 3, they talked about how all that web swinging, like, it hurt after a while, like, throws your back out and everything, and so they, I know Toby needed to get his back stretched out, so again, maybe if he has some gliding wings, maybe that would have helped save his back. Because if you look at, I mean, the swings and movement, I know just what the abilities that Spider-Man has, he's very flexible. But just, I'm thinking like the action that they're doing. Because when they swing, especially when they swing, they kick their spines almost bend all the way back, and then they swoop through, and then the swing forward, to kind of propel themselves some. So yeah, I could certainly see that being a useful, or they would have looked at as a useful addition to their spider suits if they had some sort of gliding ability.
So really fast, I totally forgot. Spider-Man, the last one, what was his name? Humfield, Tom Humfield.
Yeah.
Can't pronounce his name. He actually glides in most of the movies, believe it or not. It just came to mind as I'm saying this. I totally forgot about that actually.
Mhm.
And last comment from Eric.
Yeah. A metal
He's your friend. I'll let
mobility.
you read it.
Yeah, as a metal. So right. So he's also a metal memorabilia guy. So again, rock music. But then again, I guess he found a connection with Japan, and he was able to get, like I said, a lot of material. So again, action figures, Godzilla figures, anything Toho or
I'll give you a
anime
fun
related.
fact.
Yeah.
So when Spider-Man 1 came out, and this isn't now he become my friend of this one because me and Eric are both Aerosmith fans. Aerosmith did a reimagine of the theme song Spider-Man. It's actually a very, very good version of it. Go look it up
Mm.
if you have time, Paul.
Okay.
Very honorable mentions before we go to the last time. I know this has nothing to do with our show. I just want to bring it up. If you guys want to do some research on yourselves, be my guest. A couple of strong Spider-Man from the series, comic book series, were Spider-Man Earth 616, Spider-Man Hulk, Miles Morales is on 4th place, Spider-Man 299, like I mentioned, Ghost Rider Spider-Man, Charlotte Spider, and Iron Spider, all the top favorite ones from the comic book series. I just
Mhm.
want to bring that up really fast.
Right.
Let's get in our final thoughts really fast. Greg, you want to go first? Paul, you go second. I'll finish up.
I don't have anything to say. Sorry. I can't
Okay.
think of anything.
That was
Sorry.
fast.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, Spider-Man being done and redone in so many character iterations, that, and for the most part, what I appreciate is I don't have a problem with any iteration, whether it be in the television space from the 70s, or the animated series, in the really going. In fact, we didn't even talk about the 60s, which I think where everybody started, right? I mean, I grew up with the original Spider-Man, with the jingle, Spider-Man does whatever a spider can. So again, I grew up on that. So kudos to that series that got a lot of people really interested in the character in the 60s. So again, big respect to that one, because that Spider-Man was a lot more serious. He was older. He was an older college student by then. He wasn't a teenager in that regard. He was taking, and the plots were serious, very similar to what the Fantastic Four was back then. Very serious plot lines, not a lot of humor per se, but the themes were taken very seriously. So again, the original 60s version of Spider-Man was very good. And certainly even the movies that came out later paid homage at least to the Spider-Man theme song. In fact, in the end credits of their first movie, the 2002 Tobey Maguire movie, they played the original Spider-Man theme in the closing credits of the movie. So I
That's
got
the Aerosmith version I told you about.
no, it's not Aerosmith. That again, that version goes back to the
No, you misunderstanding, Paul. They did exact same jingle, but Aerosmith just sung it exactly the same way.
okay, that's fine.
Word.
Yeah, that's
That's what
fine.
I'm
That's
saying
fine.
to
But
you.
I'm saying, but in the original, the 2002 movie, towards the end of the end credits, they played the original theme from the cartoon series of the 60s. So I'm just saying that they paid homage to that original series, because that was like the first animated Spider-Man series. And to this day, and again, maybe because I'm older, but to this day, it's probably my favorite because of the seriousness of the tone. They had the villains, and just the seriousness with which they took the whole property. Shout out to also in the 80s, they had Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends with Iceman and Firestorm. Again, that was a good iteration in all the animated versions that came after that. But when it comes to, again, strongest Spider-Man, like I said, I still may have to give the edge to Tom Holland. because of the feats of strength that he did with catching the car, with holding the riverboat together. I think that he may be the strongest iteration of the character. But again, I can't complain, even though they were made by different productions or whatnot. Garfield, Holland, Tobey Maguire. I thought they all did a very serviceable job in the Spider-Man role. And again, the last movie, bringing all of them together, I thought that was great. And the pop, I just remember the audience pop when all the three characters came out and together. It was electric, So I can't remember too many times when an audience popped like that. And that was certainly one of them where they all went crazy when all three got together. And again, just the way they ended it, I thought it was again a great. That was one of my favorite, probably is my favorite movie that concerns the multiverse. And then after that, I just think the multiverse theme just got way out of hand. But that I had no problem with. So that's all I got.
So really fast. Okay, so I want to mention a couple things before we go. When Tom Holland first started playing Spider-Man, he was the closest one in age to play Spider-Man because he was 19 when he first started playing him. He was still a kid, pretty much. The other gentlemen were in their late 20s, early 30s when they started playing Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So that's one thing. Another honorable mention besides the original Spider-Man, I want to mention Amazing Spider-Man and his Amazing Friends, if you remember that one.
That was good. Yeah.
That was a really good series too.
Yeah, I mentioned that one too. Yeah.
I was Iceman and
Fire Show.
I couldn't remember her name. That was a really good series. Spider-Man had a good series over the years. I think this is the longest we have gone right now. We haven't had a good anime series. They had some, after 2002, they had some here and there series, but nothing to literally pop like the 90s, the 80s, the 70s. Those were the, foundation years for Spider-Man, I think.
Mhm.
So, except that Spider-Man is
the other thing I would say about Tom Holland is he was the one, he could really do stuff. Like if you watch his if you watch his audition tapes and whatnot, like he really was like an acrobat. Like he could do crazy stuff without the CGI or whatever. He had a lot of that going for him as well, and I think that helped him to land the role, that he could do so many things.
So originally, Tobey did most of his stunts. That's how he got his back screwed up so bad. Because he wasn't a stunt guy. He was more an actor. Give him credit. I give him a lot of credit trying to do his own stunts. Cannot take that away from him. With Tom Holland, I got to give him credit. I'm pretty sure Garfield did some of his stunts, like Tobey, but not to the extreme that.
Yeah, he was doing like he would jump off a wall, flipping around. He was doing, crazy stuff.
He's an athlete, that kid.
Yeah,
the kid was an athlete. Let's give him credit when he's due. He did free running, I think, or something like that's called. But he's an athlete. But also the downfall of Tom Holland, he's a blabbermouth. And that's why they don't talk, like every time he's on an interview, he blabbers old secrets out. So he
although I gotta give him credit for one thing. I think he's married to Zendaya now.
He just the other day he
just got married. So shout out. So he got his Mary Jane for real. So hey, I give him props for that. So
she and him. Hey, if it works, it works, man. But it's Hollywood again. You know how those works.
But
by the time you see they're done
together. Hopefully they can keep it together.
All right, let's do a quick schedule out there. You want to go over tomorrow's show, Paul?
Yeah, it's just gonna be a call-in. I think we're due for a call-in show on the Gray Area show. So again, anything that the last 3 weeks we've been talking about the overhyping of Valentine's Day and engagement rings and weddings and whatnot. So if you guys want to chop it up with us as far as any of those topics or anything that we talked about in prior shows, you're more free to come up. We'll send the link out. And again, you guys have, let's have some fun tomorrow night as we, prepare for our next series of shows. But call-in show tomorrow. Looking forward to it.
So for rest of the week, we are on Sparring. We're doing another versus. Paul, my man, I got to call you out again. Twice in 1 month.
First of all, I won the last one, so
What the hell are you smoking?
I want listen
Are
for
you smoking one of
anyone.
these?
Listen for anyone. Go back and watch the show and count the number of times that
I've
Peter
got a miniature
said,
version of that right here.
and count the number of times Peter says, you know what? I give you that one. Count how many times I did. I don't think I conceded one point that Peter made, but every point that I was making when it comes to boxing versus martial arts.
I'll give you. I'm one zip with you, but on Tuesday, I'm gonna win this argument hands down.
And what is the argument?
Beard versus clean shaven.
Oh gosh.
So
Fight.
challenge.
You versus
for
Paul
sure.
clean
Shut up,
shaving.
you. What's up?
You versus Paul clean shaving. Whenever
No,
I've ever
we're
you've
not
always
talking
had
about
a
my
beard.
face versus his face, dude. We're
Oh.
talking about, is clean shaven better or is it a beard better? And I have my facts to prove that too.
Okay.
Yeah. So Paul,
that'll be worthwhile to watch.
I put my challenge out there. Are you gonna accept?
Well, I don't run away from challenges, bro. You know that.
All
So I'll be in the place. But at least I'm glad you conceded that I won the last debate. Hands
Or you're not
down.
gonna win this one.
And it wasn't even close. Because every argument you put up together, just like karate, I just boop, 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 boop. I just swat them down like flies.
I'm just gonna let you have this one. So and next week, Paul, you're gonna fall on this one. Ready for this?
Go for it.
Greg, you too, probably. Cartoon theme songs that we're going over.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we cannot play any theme songs on the air because of copyrights, but we can mention our favorite songs. Let's do some homework, guys. Both of you guys bring your favorite top 10 theme songs you want to put into the show.
Listen, I'll be ready. I'll just say that. I'll be.
I know
ready.
you will be.
I'm already ready.
Yeah.
But I'll be even more ready.
Yeah.
And prepared then.
Greg, you too. Top 10 theme songs. Write them down. Cartoons.
Okay.
All right. Except that, guys, this was Spartan SU Network. I am the Spartan. He is Greg from UK. My man, the president. As always, you're really going to have a good customer one of these days. As always.
I think
Wear
already
a helmet, Craig. Craig, wear a helmet, please. That help a lot.
As always, stay fresh, stay safe, and I'll see you guys on the next one.